Hi, this is Tutor Nick P, and this is lesson 117. Today we're going to look at the difference between ashamed and embarrassed. Yeah, you could see how they are close in meaning, so you could see how students might want to see the difference between the two. So let's look at it, and there is some clear differences between these. Let's look at the first note here. If someone feels ashamed, they feel great embarrassment, often because you have done bad or immoral behavior or feel guilty about hurting others. Yeah, so shame has a lot to do more with your bad behavior or your immoral behavior or not living up to your obligations or your duties. And especially if, your actions actually hurt people, you're more likely to feel ashamed. So remember, uh, shame is the noun, so you feel ashamed. Okay, especially when something lowers your image in another person's eyes. Yeah, well, if they know about it. When feeling ashamed, you tend to judge your own actions. Yeah, that's another thing about ashamed. You're more likely to be questioning yourself and your behavior and feeling guilty about it. So, a lot of times with embarrassment, it just might have been something that happened that really didn't have a lot to do with your moral behavior. And after it's over, you may completely forget about it. So, but shame is different. It's deeper in this sense. Okay, such as your actions, and you still feel shame when others are not around. Yeah, so shame, when you feel ashamed, it sticks with you usually longer and deeper if you say that you're ashamed. Okay, let's look at embarrassed. Someone feels embarrassed when they do something foolish or make silly mistakes, especially in front of others, and if they laugh at you. Yeah, so you're often embarrassed when people are laughing at you. Shamed, or when you're shamed, sometimes it's a more serious situation. Sometimes it doesn't even involve laughter. Um, but again, here, it tends to be less serious, the things you do. Okay, good. So let's look at this, continue the notes. A lot of embarrassing things sometimes happen by chance and has nothing to do with moral behavior. So if it happens by chance, you're less likely to be blaming yourself or to be questioning your behavior because, sometimes it was just luck or bad luck that something happened to you. All right, if we look at the examples, this helps a little bit. Example number one, Mr. Jones felt ashamed about cheating on his wife. Yeah, this is definitely bad behavior, immoral behavior. Yeah, if you're a decent person, you feel shame. If you're like a sociopath, sometimes they do bad things, they don't feel any shame. Um, okay, good. Let's take a look at the second one. Mrs. Jackson feels ashamed that her daughter turned out to be a porn star, in pornography. Maybe she makes a lot of dirty movies. So that's another thing. You could be ashamed not only about your own actions, but people who are very closely related to you. And it may reflect on you. Just like a mother with her daughter, she may feel ashamed that her daughter ended up in this profession. Okay, let's look at number three. Paul is ashamed to admit he got fired from his last job for stealing from the company. Again, bad behavior. The sort of behavior that if other people knew about it, they might look down on you in that sort of sense. So we're more likely to use ashamed in this sort of sense. Okay. Number four, Sally was embarrassed when a strong wind came by and blew her dress up in the air, revealing her underwear. All right, this is embarrassing. A lot of girls might scream, ah, or whatever. But to be honest, it has nothing to do with moral behavior. It is by chance. And, probably about 10 minutes later, if you're walking away, you probably forget about it. It may not stick with you. So that would be an example that you would probably say you're embarrassed, but not really ashamed. It wasn't even your fault. It was just something that happened to you. All right, number five. Jessica was embarrassed when she made a mistake by mispronouncing that word. Yeah, if she pronounced it in an incorrect way, especially if other people laughed at her, she may feel a little, about her she feels a little bad about her ability of speaking English. It's embarrassing. Not so serious that it would have anything to really do with shame though, or that you would feel ashamed about. Okay, number 6. Morris was embarrassed when he bent over and split his pants. Yeah, maybe he bent over, and his pants, yeah, that's embarrassing. But again, it's not something that you would feel shame about or that you would be ashamed of. Oh my God, that happened to me. You just feel embarrassed. Maybe somebody laughed. Maybe sometimes you could even laugh at yourself sometimes. But that's embarrassing. So embarrassing tends to be a little less serious. You may feel embarrassed at that time, but tends to go away quicker. Tends to have less to do with your moral behavior, and you don't have as much, self retrospection on. You tend to, just you'll probably let it go easier. But shame is not. Shame, you may question your behavior and feel bad about it, and it may stick with you longer. All right, well, I hope that clarifies it. Thank you for your time. Bye bye.